What's up, motherfuckers? Gonna do a shorter video today. It's a question I seem to get a lot from people, not necessarily online, but in the real world. And that is how to become a repossession agent. When I first got into it, I didn't really think that it really took a lot of requirements. I felt like it was kind of just there was a point in time where I wanted to be a cop, and while I could have done it, there was a lot of hoops to jump through. And I mean, I could still pursue it if I wanted to, but I didn't. Ultimately, I found another line of work that I enjoy, and I'll be doing this forever. But the point, well, not really the point, the idea of this video is just to give you some ideas on what it takes to get into this line of work. So, first off, I'm in Indiana, so every state is going to be different, but it seems like the number one requirement is experience, which is kind of hard to get. If you need experience to get the job and you don't have any experience, it's kind of hard to get the experience. So with that being said, if you have your eyes set on being a repo man, don't exclude it just because they didn't hire you in as a repo man. Go to a company that has that does towing and recovery. Just try to get a job and let your intentions be known. There's really not an order for these because they're all really important requirements. One of the most important is a valid and clean driving license. If you've got a bunch of tickets and they're all for speeding and reckless driving and driving on suspended and driving without insurance and DUIs, even if a company wanted to hire you, their insurance will not allow it. They don't play as far as repo insurance goes. It is one of the main, I can't really think of the word. It's one of the biggest reasons companies fail, is because of insurance. People can't afford to keep it going. They have an accident and insurance doesn't cover all of it. They don't have the money to cover the rest. It's a very expensive and a very important part of any recovery business. Another requirement is you can't be a dick. A lot of repo agents have, maybe I shouldn't say that's a requirement, but another very good thing is you got to have the right attitude. If you're somebody who can't take being insulted, who can't take being talked trash to, who gets physical when people aggravate them, this ain't the line of work for you. I've been called everything I can think to be called. So much so, I say it's kind of a joke, but it's also true. I respond to "hey asshole." If I'm doing my job, especially and somebody yells out "hey asshole," I look, because they're usually talking to me. Reliable transportation is another thing. You cannot, it's a nighttime job, and you can't really, well, in most cases, not everybody's a nighttime job, but I work at night. You have to be able to get to work, and that's really with every job. That's not just being a repo man. That's every job out there. You have to be dependable. Another, I don't really want to use the word requirement anymore. Another quality to have is, it kind of goes with the, being able to, good people skills. You got to be able to talk to people. For my interview, when my boss hired me, I got really fortunate. My boss met me, he liked me, he thought I had the right attitude, and I was totally upfront and honest with him. I told him that I had no experience repoing, that I had actually wanted to become a repo man because of YouTube. I was a big Repo Nut fan, and after watching him so long, I thought it would be something I'd enjoy. And fortunately, I just impressed him, and he has been in this business for so long that he taught me a lot in just my first couple of weeks. He really wasn't the one training me, but just his advice and the protocol that he put into place It served me well. He had told me in the very beginning, there's going to be times you have to be an asshole, but in this business there is no tomorrow, and you're in charge. Meaning, just give me till tomorrow. It can't happen. I got to take the car. I'm here to take the car. And if somebody comes out and they're yelling and they're throwing things and they're getting, right on the verge of being violent, you have to know how to put them in the place they belong. You have to get just a little louder. You got to get just a little sterner, and you've got to let him know that you're in charge. I'm not trying to make this sound like being a cop, but that's really the best example I can give for it. When a cop arrives on scene, if he's all timid and got kicking rocks on the ground and he's got his head down, and there's some big bad, burly tough guy screaming, yelling, and telling him what he's going to do, and the cop's just, I guess you could do it that way. No, it ain't gonna work. You have to be stern. You have to let them know that you're there to do a job. It's nothing personal, but their anger and frustration only makes it worse. I can't really think of too many others. It's really not a lot. One thing I will say, I've heard this a lot. Can you be a felon and be a repo man? Yes, it is possible. Not all companies will hire felons, but they're not allowed to. So I don't know if every state is the same, but here in Indiana, yes, you can be a felon and you can be a repo man. I can't really think of many other requirements off the top of my head. It is really just something that you need to think about, and I will tell you now, if you want to know what it's like, go watch the show Lizard Lick Towing and know that it is nothing at all like that. You will have people get angry and you will have people get violent. 9 times out of 10, it's almost just like towing a vehicle. You just go, you pick it up, and you take it to your lot, and that's it. If you want to get an actual idea of what it is about, Repo Nut, Matt, I admire the guy, I look up to him. A lot of other repo men dislike him because he kind of put our world out there for people to see, and I think what he did was great. I mean, it kind of showed, we're people too, and we just got a job to do. So, all right, if you guys have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them any way that I can. Just leave them in the comments, and yeah, good luck with it. Peace.